Hello, all you listeners out there. Welcome to this week's episode of The Story Shack. Zach speaking here, if you're not familiar with our voices
I'm here
yet.
too.
Yes, I just want to make it clear who's who.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't
yeah.
mean to lash out irrationally.
Oh, okay. Did Neil tell you that? Segue into this week's episode, The Santa Claus. It came out in 1994. I was but a wee lad at this point.
Yeah, I never got the pun.
And
the pun of the Santa Claus.
The Santa Claus. Oh, no, I didn't until I was 12, teenager. I don't know,
I
whenever.
also just always spelled it with the E. So I was like...
Well, now when I type out for searching the movie and everything, I was spelling it with the E also going, oh, I'm spelling it wrong. Oh, wait, no, that is the right one. Damn it. So... yeah. Anyways,
because he was the Santa Claus.
The Santa Claus and the clause. It's a double entendre, I guess.
Yeah.
There's two meanings in there.
Right.
Anyways, moving on. This is a favorite of mine. Almost, if it's not my favorite, it's top 3 of all movies. Just kidding. Of holiday movies, at least. What is your guess on the thermometer scores, audience and critics?
Oh,
I have them down here.
I'm gonna say 85 for critics, and I'm gonna say like 93 for audiences.
85 critics, 93 audience.
Oh my God, I was right on.
No, I was just making sure I had that correct. I got 72% critics.
Okay.
65% audience. It's actually lower. Yeah, oddly enough. But the difference there was about the same, but in the other way, in the critics' favor.
Right.
From your guess. That's what I was trying to sort out in my head. So, yeah, not too bad, but kind of bad. It's not
I'm a little
as
disappointed in that. I consider this one a classic. I have to watch every Christmas season.
I know. Same here. The critics rated this. So last week's episode was Home Alone, which was lower on the critics but higher on the audience. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Still not like great 60s and 70s for Santa Claus, but yeah. What do you have any initial thoughts, impressions, or things that stuck out to you?
Again, this is another one I've seen, 30 times, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it didn't matter what time of year this was. I would watch it at my grandparents' house.
Yeah, I think this was my third watch through this season already.
Yeah,
trying to watch it again for today.
But the one takeaway I had this time, I don't know that Charlie actually likes his dad. Because he refers to him a lot as Santa Claus. There is like a I love you, but he likes
Santa. He doesn't like his dad, but he likes
he has
his
no
dad, the
interest
Santa
in
Claus.
his dad until his dad becomes Santa Claus.
Ooh, and yeah, we don't get a lot before that, so it's making sense.
Then I want to go into the family business, which essentially means he wants to kill his dad and take his spot as Santa.
Oh my God, is that?
I think Charlie hates his dad.
That's like an Oedipus thing or something, isn't it?
Yeah, gotta be.
Like killing your dad or some ancient Greek philosophy.
Right.
Anyways, wow, I went a little deep there. I think I blacked out.
That's kind of what stuck out to me on this watch through of just, I feel like Charlie actually kind of hates his dad. He didn't want to be there for Christmas, but then his dad becomes Santa Claus, and all of a sudden, he's into his dad. And, like, there's even a time where he's like, I love you, Santa Claus. And I don't know. I guess it could be that Scott finally realizes that he's Santa Claus, so he's not like...
Okay, so this is touching on a couple of things that I had, but in a completely different way. Was just... This is a family gone through a divorce. So turmoil, maybe some therapy, needed.
With Neil.
And yeah, and you have Neil as the psychiatrist anyways, but oh man, that throws me for a loop. So, but because of that, I feel like a child's going to experience a mix of emotions and stuff that I could see that being kind of the cause of it, right?
Yeah.
But then the other thing I was thinking was how much of Scott Calvin becoming Santa Claus was destiny or just pure coincidence, like chaos theory type thing.
Right.
For a couple reasons, and I will substantiate just a little bit here. There's elves in the city, in the town, prior to him running into the Santa falling off the roof.
Right.
You see that, right? I didn't catch that one till I was older, but
yeah, I noticed them around as like the kids in the.
Are they just there to be there, or are they there because it's almost like he's meant to be? Now the other destiny kind of part of it for him, for Scott Calvin, is I don't know if it's attributed to the magic of he's taken on this contract, this agreement, the Santa Claus, that he's now being transformed, right?
Mm-hmm.
That made him more, I don't know what the right word is for, but more gentle and kind, like Santa Claus should be to kids.
Right.
Which may now go back into why not just being Santa Claus, but because there's this magical thing that's changing Scott that makes Charlie like him more. Meaning if he wasn't Santa Claus, his son would not like, which I didn't think about at all, right. But I'm now connecting that. Am I losing you a little bit here? Does that kind of make sense? So my original thought on that was because magic plays a big part, and I want to talk about that a little bit more maybe later, but that's kind of making the change. And there's some cool stuff that I realized. I watched the second Santa Claus. I won't go into that right now because I feel like it's going to get us off topic. But that kind of ties into the magic part of it and who Scott Calvin actually is as a person.
Right.
But now he's Santa Claus, and I don't know if you can see the two as distinct individuals. So
right. Because he's Santa Claus year round.
Yeah.
He no longer exists as Scott Calvin.
Yeah.
There's a couple little things that stick out with me, however you want to put that. The candy cane when they arrive at the North Pole, mm-hmm. and has the little like keypad that comes out.
Yeah.
That is an actual kitchen timer that I had growing up that I remember specifically. And if you pause it, you can see like the start, stop, and all of the timer information. So that always sticks out with me. Love Bernard.
Oh yeah. I've always liked this character. Yeah.
And I love Judy.
Uh-huh.
I had such a huge crush on her when I was growing up. And
she's like hundreds of years old.
Yeah,
dude.
She's like hundreds of years old.
Jeez.
Yeah. I always adored her. And also,
aren't those the doll things that hit each other? Aren't those called punching Judies?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
And the elves at the end, the ones that have the like jetpacks or whatever.
Yeah, as a kid, that always seemed cool. Yeah. It seems a little too cheesy.
Yeah.
Now for me as an adult, but I liked it.
Yeah. So yes, there is a magical element to it, but I mm-hmm. like the like operation behind it all of like, this is Santa Corp, kind of like we mm-hmm. produce the toys. You're the guy that goes out and delivers them. We've got this backup contingency plan. And like,
yeah, it's more
I
like a business.
The laws and rules that they build for the world.
I do like the world, yes.
And I like that it also brings in that grounded reality of like this father that, to their understanding, kidnaps their son, and like the cops are there waiting to like, mm-hmm. I think they do a good job of blending like this guy transforming into Santa Claus and it being weird, but them not really realizing that it's out of his control that it's happening, just that it's happening.
He's a misunderstood monster. If you took this, you could make it a horror film or crazy drama. Absolutely. I don't know, where he's becoming this creature almost, and then kidnaps his own son.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying we could rewrite this as a Yeah. See, there you go. Yeah. Just runs around naked.
Yeah.
There's so many good lines in there. Doesn't she like tell his ex-wife tell him like to not be rude or something? And then in the beginning, and he's like, to Neil, and he's like, "Oh, it doesn't have to be rude. It could be sarcastic or mean
Right.
or something."
Yeah.
Just like the divorced dad
No,
stupid
I mean,
jokes.
Tim Allen, I don't agree with his politics, but I'll always have a soft spot for Home Improvement and this
Same.
movie and Toy Story and all those. And I think he does great in this. This was his first feature role. He's really good at, you know, playing the divorced dad. I love the like cooking section where it goes from like the video to him with the fire extinguisher, and then they go to Denny's, and
It's pretty good.
yeah,
I always like that.
yeah, same,
Okay, so going to the magical element a little bit.
yeah,
So what I like about this movie, and just something I try to keep in mind sort of day to day, is as a kid, I always felt like there was some sort of magic in, I don't know, just maybe in being young, or there's that like,
childhood wonder.
yeah, there's something about just like being a kid that you don't want to lose that. And so I kind of equate magic to being that kind of thing, that there's an element of being a kid, and I guess there's like wonder and curiosity. That's what it is, the wonder and curiosity that I feel like when you get older you kind of lose, which I think the belief in Santa Claus being real is a good like example of how we start young with that. As you get older you kind of realize, oh, that's not really how things are, and then you kind of lose that. But I like to try to keep in mind to not completely lose that ever in my life going forward. So my thought is Scott Calvin, to his son, wants his son to kind of believe in Santa, like, and know like it's okay, but then admits later, I am an adult, I don't believe in Santa.
Right.
So how can this be happening, kind of thing? But then he has to really buy into it. So what I want to know, is it the simple fact that he now knows that it's a real thing that he truly believes, or is it the magic of the Santa Claus that's changing how he thinks and views things? I don't know if that kind of makes sense.
No,
but
that does.
Okay.
Is it something that he's realizing, or is it something that's kind of affecting him?
Influence him, just like physically. Yeah, because all of a sudden the kids are attracted to him as being Santa, whether it's just the looks, or I like to think there's a bit of magic that kids can still sense.
Right.
And that draws them to him. And in this one movie, it's nice because this is his, becoming Santa Claus one. And then in the second movie, which isn't as good, and the third is definitely not as good, but I like part of it because the second one is him finding his Mrs. Claus. But there's a couple moments in there where he only has a finite amount of magic because he's going to lose, or like stop being Santa if he doesn't get married. And there's a lot of parts in that one that's kind of contrived, but there's one moment where a random girl comes up to him again, and he is like, the way he is with her is so nice that it's like, if you didn't know he was Santa, you'd be like, oh, he's a really nice guy and would like be a good dad. But he is Santa, and so there's like another aspect of it that like feels magical and nice. And he's like good with other kids, but not with his own, because in the second one, Charlie's older. And he's like on a bad boy streak and does graffiti and stuff. And that goes back to your thing of he doesn't like his dad. Now, I thought that was a whole thing where, because he never sees his dad, not never, but hardly would ever see his dad,
right,
that he's become distant. But given what you said for this movie, maybe it just was always like that. It's just his
the
thought change.
The Santa Claus.
Yeah, is now driving him further from being connected. And there's a moment in that movie where his son finally says he has the best, like his dad has the best job in the world, but he can't tell anyone. So it feels like a burden knowing my dad's Santa, but everyone else now my age doesn't believe in it, but I know it is still real. And so he's like, so it's actually like there's some aspects of that are really good, but then there's stuff in there where they have like all the magical creatures like Mother Nature and Father Time that's like, this is kind of like dumb and just feels contrived. So, but yeah, so yeah.
No, I like what you're saying there. Yeah,
people are going to be listening and be like, this guy put way too much thought into these holiday movies. But
anybody that's critiquing that right now or commenting that, like, this is what people should be doing when they make movies. They should be thinking about these kind of things. They shouldn't be just throwing things together, especially when they're putting millions of dollars behind it and people are spending their hard-earned money in the millions to go see them. There should be thought and care and things put into these movies that matter, even if it is just a shitty little Christmas Disney movie.
Yeah, and to entertain you for 90 minutes. But
yeah, exactly. Don't give us shit.
I talked a lot.
Like we care too much.
Yeah, I talked a lot there. I had all that on my mind, and I don't even think that was all of it. So hopefully it made enough sense. That's all I wanted to say on that. Well, your rebuttal,
I
sir.
Think that was a good episode. Let's move on to the no, I didn't think of it in that aspect. I was just really stuck on the fact that Charlie kind of hates his dad and only starts liking him after he becomes Santa. So I think that you have a valid point there. I love the magical world that they create. I love that the elves are played by kids very clearly, but act very mature. And, there's some that are a little like the shyer ones that are just building toys and like, looking through the window at him kind of thing. But then they've got like the operational ones like Quentin and Judy. And like, I just really loved that world as a kid. And then in the third act, when they're like getting him so with the reindeer and him and Comet always kind of have a conflict. And I never caught it before, but in the third act, when they're going through, like, he's got his flame suit, his fire suit, so he doesn't get burnt by fireplaces, and they've got all this new technology in the sled. And he just keeps asking, well, what if I fall off the roof?
Yeah.
And then
they just ignore it.
And they just keep ignoring it. And then Comet gives him a rope that
that's right,
to get him if he falls off the roof.
Yeah, that's almost kind of a payoff type thing, too, right? Because he's like saying this thing, say this, and then,
And it also gives an arc to Comet for some reason, where they started off, not really friends. It always bothered me, but I kind of like it now that they don't have Rudolph. I don't know, like, it bothered me as a kid because when you're a kid, you only care about Rudolph. You don't care about the other reindeer.
Yeah.
They used to laugh and call him names.
Yeah. I always felt like I was that kid.
Yeah.
I mean, that reindeer.
But like the fact that Rudolph is missing, I'm kind of curious why they decided to leave him out. Would it have drawn too much attention? Would it have
taken away from maybe or in this world Rudolph is just a fairy tale.
Yeah.
I maybe it's like because he does Tim Allen or Scott Calvin makes the comment of easy Rudolph,
right?
Scott to comment that maybe it's just lore. It's kind of there's another it's Kurt Russell, Christmas Chronicles movie. He plays Santa. It's actually not a terrible movie. It's just I was gonna mention I don't like the elves in there are cool and they speak Elvish and blah blah blah, but because it's CGI. I like the more practical stuff in the Santa Claus and
Same.
But they did a decent. That was another thing I did write down was the special effects for what they were. They didn't do a lot, I think, right? But what they did was fine, and but they could have made Comet more, or all the reindeer, I guess, more just fake,
right?
Then they're still fake, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they turn Comet kind of into a joke in the second one. I'm not gonna go there. Anyways,
I love the little girl that he goes and he says that he's lactose intolerant, and then the next year she leaves him soy milk.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah.
I
think the milk went off. But yeah, I mean overall, and then the family aspect of it all, and like Neil gets his weedy whistle and like it kind of helps them believe in the magic a little bit.
Yeah, that happens a little bit also in the second one, where some adults get toys that they had wanted as kids,
Right.
and it brings that magic out. So again, with the magic part, like I like that it's just that one thing that makes you go, oh, like I believe in magic or whatever.
But here's the question: why didn't they get those gifts from the original Santa?
I did think that before, yeah, because I didn't Neil stop believing at like 4 or something or 3. Didn't he say that?
Like, okay,
he knew right away.
How can all of these people, and maybe this can be just attributed to magic, but how can every single family get their presents for their kids, say it's Santa, but also have presents that would randomly show up because
Santa like who wasn't questioning?
Yeah. So I mean, there's some logic there, but I mean, it's a Christmas movie. I'll let it pass. But it just the things you think of as an adult that when you're not as into the magic of the moment.
Well, here's one then. I just thought it might not be a good counter, but if there's really the elves kind of running around a little bit, no one's ever noticed one. Maybe it's just the like how oblivious adults are to those things that could be more obvious, that there's an extra gift and they don't think much of it. Maybe it's from Aunt Sally and you just
maybe
never
the
double
other
checked.
Parent put it there,
or there's a little bit of magic surrounding the gift that like blocks the adults from making the connection. I don't know. Like
I don't know.
I'll make any excuse to make it make more sense.
Yeah.
Because I have to have this movie, Jake. I have to. It's I already mentioned one of my favorites. So
yeah. Any final thoughts?
I also had down the fat suit kind of thing that he was in was pretty good because
real good.
Yeah.
I meant to mention that too. Yeah. It looks pretty good for being 94. Yeah.
Because I even think in like Shallow Hal's, I don't know why I thought about that one, but for Gwyneth Paltrow's, it looks like you can just tell with the extra like it just which is fine because that's a very like comedy movie,
right? No, when he's in the sweatsuit and he comes in for lunch or whatever, and he's got like the double chin, like it looks
but
very
slightly
believable.
Yeah, it's like they did just enough.
Yeah,
but then it gives the whole look, and then they always make him look like pink and rosy when he's got Santa on. So the second one they do a little bit more special effects because it like goes away real quick because he's going back to his normal self momentarily for like the last month, where he has to get a wife in a month, which is also very like, oh, here's the time crunch, here's this. My final thoughts though, because I did write, I have a favorite moment or the favorite stuff. Actually, I already kind of mentioned it. The magic in there is overall favorite, but I also like father-son stuff. I've always been kind of keen on that, and my parents had a tough relationship my whole life and ended in divorce when I was 18, but I always kind of worried about it growing up, and so anytime I saw that in movies, it's just I feel like I can relate and to at least the chaos or something. And then now again, I think I mentioned this in other episodes, having my own son, just looking at that. I think the first time we watched this specific movie, I had teared up a lot. I don't know, because I used to watch this movie a lot too with my dad around the holidays. So
it comes full circle.
The part that I didn't know, it's kind of a hate / I'm not sure if it's because I like the jokes because it's kind of funny, but the psychiatrist jokes, like at the psychiatrist, they're kind of like classic ones, but I put it as like a thing I didn't like that much now, even though I didn't mind it before, only because I'm wondering, do you think they didn't age well? Because I don't know I think they're on the borderline where like give it another 10 or 20 years, and maybe not, because there's a stigma, I think, to going to therapy that now isn't there as much. So it's like people who were alive then remember that and would still find the jokes funny. Right. But knowing that there's some pretty serious like things that people should go to therapy for.
Right.
Destigmatizing is probably more of a priority. I don't know. I was curious your thoughts on it. It didn't sit well with me as much this time through.
I mean, I can agree with that, but I also saw it as more of a him just not liking Neil.
Yeah, fair enough.
And just playing that, like, you know, any profession that Neil would have had, I think he would have made jokes about and done that with. Because, I mean, you know, Neil does talk to him in a psychiatric kind of way. Talks to Charlie. And I mean, you know, Scott doesn't lash out irrationally about it. Like
Where did you hear that? Almost like he just cursed up a storm.
Yeah, I love that. And then
I learned a lot from Neil.
When I wake up, I'm getting a CAT scan.
Yeah, there's some good one-liners.
Yeah, but my favorite part, Judy and Bernard, love them, and then just all the technology stuff at the end. I also wanted to be Santa Claus because of the sled and all of the cool stuff. What I didn't like, I don't know what I didn't like. I like that they didn't, like, there's a lot of like kids movies. There's always like the fumbling old neighbor or something that's gonna try and catch this. Oh, I think he's Santa Claus and I'm gonna get him kind of thing. And there wasn't that in this, and they just really ground it. And I appreciate that as an adult, and I think I appreciate it as a kid because there's a lot of adult elements in it that make kids feel like they're, you know, watching a grown-up movie, but it's got the magic elements.
I get that vibe too.
Yeah,
it feels like, I don't want to say, or maybe use gritty for lack of a better word.
Yeah,
that it is almost grounded in that it feels real, and as opposed to someone
doesn't feel like
next door out to get. Yeah. It's like somewhere in between, so it's nice. Yeah, I will say, if you wanted to be Santa Claus, you technically still can. In the lore of this movie, you can find Santa on your rooftop and push him off.
I will.
Pick up the suit, put it on.
I'm gonna.
You might want to read the card and the fine print because there's multiple. There's sequels, so there's more fine print.
Wants to kill his dad.
I will concede on that point. He literally says,
"I want to take up the family business," with like a menacing look in his eye.
And as that kind of bullyish looking kid in the, you know, was it the parents, the what do they call that, like fair job day? Bring your dad into school day. I don't know. That's not what it's called. But he mentions, so all I got to do is push you off the roof.
Yeah.
It's like, apparently that's all you got to do.
Those are
Take up that family business. Pick up that torch. Try to pick it up. Pick it up.
Murder is the only qualification.
Pick it up.
Santa.
Yeah. And on that note, happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Or holidays to be.
We'll see you next week with a brand new episode.